I think I'm live again. It should be going. I hope I'm here. Let me adjust my camera just a tad. Sorry about that. How is everybody? As I'm waiting for everybody to show up, whoever does show up, because I know Stephen has his pop-up soda, so I know a lot of people are over there. I would be over there too if I wasn't doing the live. Hi, Stephanie. Glad to see you join. Abandoning Stephen like that, I'm telling him. Oh, this is a great thing. I do enjoy going live, so this is a lot of fun. I'd be doing the same thing on Stevens, but at least I have a little bit of YouTube exposure this way. I am working on, oh look, I don't have a pattern for it. The, what are these things called? Lights from Fort Worth Fabric Studio. They're Christmas Mystery Sew Along. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Karen. So that's what I'm going to be working on here is the lights. I've started on the first one just to make sure I've got all the right pieces, and I'm just going to be chain stitching a lot of these together. Stephanie's doing double duty. I'll be over there after the live. Don't worry, Stephanie. I need to obviously see everybody there because I miss everybody. But it's already been a crazy day with Saturday Sampler. Yeah, there's always a lot of fun. All the, what's the word? Inspiration that you see. And there were some gorgeous quilts at Show and Tell today. Karen's doing double duty too. I thought about trying to figure out how to do double duty, but I have no idea how I can go live and also be on Stephen's Zoom. And I also didn't want people thinking, why is his lips moving but no words coming out of his mouth? Because I would definitely be muted on Stephen's Zoom. Because I don't want to be rude and, monopolize his Zoom for the hour or so that I'm on here. Has the Zoom been exciting at least? I hope so, because at least then I know I'm missing something. I'm a little sad that I didn't get on there first thing this morning, but that's what happens when you wake up at the last minute and then you still have to get the puppy out around the neighborhood, and a cat that's been demanding breakfast like every single day. Good morning, Ingrid. Good to see you. Adam is on the Zoom this morning and I'm missing it? Oh. I think if there's a Tula fan bigger than me, that's him. I will not tell anybody that anybody's cheating on Stephen. If he asks when I join in a bit, I'm going to say nobody came because they were all over here on his Zoom. I mean, at least it's a good time for Adam because it's like halfway in the middle of his day, so he didn't get up early for it. But he makes some incredible bags. Hi, guys, Craft 2, John and or Curtis. How are you? Glad to see you joining. If you haven't seen Guys Craft 2, they have some awesome videos. I enjoy watching their stuff. I am a little I'm a little jealous that they're so close to so many quilt shops in their area, and all of the awesome deals that they keep sharing that they get. Their channel is awesome. I enjoy watching it. Stephanie said that Steven is kicking out anyone who went to Sean's instead of joining him this morning. His playground, his rules. A rainy Phoenix day. That doesn't happen often. The only time that I have seen it rain in Phoenix, because of my limited visits, was I was there in September, so it was monsoon season, visiting a friend, and it was just the weirdest rain that I have ever seen. And having lived in Georgia rains, if I'm calling something weird, it's definitely weird. Yeah, Stephanie used to live in Mesa. A friend of mine, his family lives in Mesa. So I would go and visit him, and we would go to his family's for Thanksgiving out in Mesa. He lived on the west side, though, of Phoenix. So it was almost like as far away from his family as he can get and still be near. And Jackie's in Tempe. Now I'm kind of missing my Phoenix Thanksgivings because it was always so nice out there. It was perfect temperatures. I'd be in shorts the entire time. It's the thing that I did not like was it was so bright because there's like no trees. And without trees to block everything, it just killed my eyes. And I have pretty sensitive eyes as it is. And I would say being able to walk around in flip flops and shorts in November is a wonderful thing, but I do that here in Georgia. So it's not like going to Phoenix made it any different from my wardrobe attire, but it's always fun where you don't get looked at funny for being in your shorts and t-shirts and flip flops. And then now I'm remembering John gets every other Friday off, so he gets a lot of fun time to enjoy that weather out there. One thing that I do every time that I went to go visit Phoenix is by the time that my trip was over, I was missing green. Because while Phoenix has its own shades of green, it's not the same as Georgia greens. Ingrid has friends in Massachusetts that wear shorts year round. Maybe that's where I get it from. Because I spent 8 years in Massachusetts. That's probably where I get the whole idea that it's not cold here in Georgia. And end up wearing shorts. But I do know that, like, one of my last Thanksgivings up there, because I would go visit family a couple times for Thanksgiving. My mom thought I was crazy because I wouldn't wear a jacket, and it was mostly because in Massachusetts they overcompensate for the temperature. And like when I'm in the car, I'm already at a comfortable temperature because I set the car at whatever temperature I want it to be. When I get into a store, then it's like 80 degrees in there. And if you're wearing a heavy jacket, you just start sweating because it's 80 degrees plus a jacket. So I just got to the point where I was like, I'm not wearing this jacket because it's ridiculous inside. I don't want to be sweating while I'm inside. And Mom was like, you're crazy. And I said, but I don't like to sweat. Of course, she was one that she thought it was cold in the middle of July, and she would have a parka on. But that was just the way she was. I mean, I understand that in the summertime, a lot of places will overcompensate insides. So it'll be like 95 outside and 63 inside. But the weather here the past couple days has been gorgeous. I've been having my windows open, trying to get Riley to go out anytime she wants. And then it's dark by 6 o'clock. That's exactly what I said, Ingrid. It's usually just a short walk from the car to the store to the house. If it's a very short walk like that, why am I going to put a jacket on and deal with whatever temperatures they are for like 30 seconds? Now, if we were going to be outside for significantly longer, so like if I was doing public transportation or something, waiting on the bus, waiting on the train, yeah, that makes perfect sense to bundle up as much as I can because it's going to be cold outside for a while. Or if we were going to be doing like Black Friday shopping, then it's important, you got to bundle up while you're outside that long. But if you're only outside for a minute, there's no point in doing excessive bundle ups. Stephanie says it is 41 degrees there. That is gorgeous weather. Light jacket if you need to stay outside too long. Makes me think back of, again, my Pokemon Go days. Even if it was in the like 40s and stuff like that. Being outside, you're walking around, so you're generating all that extra heat. I was still in shorts playing Pokemon Go out there. If we went into the trails between the parks, I'd be cool for a few seconds, however long we were between them. But after that, most of the time we were out in the sun, and you get the radiant heat from the sun, and it makes it so much nicer. Heidi is suspecting that women are usually on the chilly side because they don't have the same muscle mass. And she did judo workouts to fix that. Interesting. I didn't think about the whole muscle mass thing. I know some people would say, and I'm going to say this because I am a large mammal person, that the larger you are body-wise, so maybe that could go back to the whole muscle mass thing, but in my case, I would call it fat. The warmer you usually run, but I don't think that's 100% true, because a friend of mine from college, back in my skinnier days, she was on the larger and also muscular side, and she was always freezing. She was black belt in karate, and from what I understand, she at one point bodyguarded for Sylvester Stallone at an event. And always cold, so maybe not always true. Good morning, Mom and Pop Laura Lynn. How are you? I finally got to watch a full live last weekend because it just fit in my schedule, and I loved everything that you did. Usually you only get to catch parts of it. Uh-oh, Steven has caught people. Hi, Steven. Oh, I got some folks watching from the pop-up over there. Thank you, Steven. As, folks are getting caught. I have a whole chain of light bulbs with bottoms sewn on. The bottoms are like a flying goose unit because they overlap, but the tops are just two smaller half square triangles that won't overlap, so they go a lot faster. I don't have to press in between them. I'm all about trying to make a few efficiencies where I can. Stephen, I told the folks who are doing double duty in your Zoom in here that I wasn't going to rat on them, and then here you come calling them out. I did not get a chance to catch Sean's live this morning because of Saturday Sampler. Like 4 phones went off in the during the session, and the shop owner used to be a school teacher, so she basically started calling everybody out for their phones. And I was yelling at my phone because it beeped a couple times and I had it on silent, so I don't know why it beeped, because it was on silent, do not disturb. Stephanie says a whole bunch of people are watching me. Heidi says 2 wonderful men to spend time with. How could she choose? Well, let me tell you, I was having difficulty choosing between doing my live and attending the pop-up so day. It was one of those. I have so much fun on Steven's pop-up so day Zooms, but I also have so much fun doing my lives. I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to do, so that's why I sent an email to Steven saying, hey, do you have any thoughts? Should I just try to reschedule or something? And he goes, oh, just go do it. I'm paraphrasing a little because Steven doesn't sound like that. Chain piecing reminds Laura Lynn of kite tails. I never thought of it that way, and apparently neither had Stephanie. I have had times where I have chain pieced and gotten tangled up, and that's a big pain in the neck when you're trying to keep your pieces in a certain order. My favorite chain piecing story, though, goes, I think it took 6 or 7 years to come to fruition. I had to take the beginning class because the only way that I can get to the intermediate class at the quilt shop was to take the beginning class, because I'm one of those people who likes to follow the rules. So I took the beginning class, and I'm chain piecing all my stuff together because, I mean, I still learned a lot in that beginning class, so I'm not going to say it wasn't worthwhile, because I still learned a lot. But I'm chain piecing, and the person who sits across from me in the class goes to the instructor and said, what's he doing? And the instructor said, he's chain piecing. And that is fine, as long as you are certain that you are doing everything right. Because if you are chain piecing and you do it wrong, and you do it wrong repeatedly, you're going to be spending a lot of time with seam ripper. And I have always chain pieced, and then I believe it was last year with the graduation quilt, with one of the graduation quilts, I am chain piecing all of the half square triangle units to its companion piece. And I think it's either 56 or 112 that I was doing. And I get to the end of it, and I start looking at it, and I had sewn every single one wrong. So I had to spend basically a day ripping out all of those seams. And all I heard in the back of my mind was Melinda saying, if you do it wrong, you're going to do it wrong for every single one, and you're going to be spending time with your seam ripper. So it did come to fruition. That's why I now really focus on a sample block every single time that I'm planning on doing chain piecing, to make sure that that is, if it needs to go into a certain order. If it doesn't need to go into a certain order, then I'm just going to do whatever comes out of it. But if it needs to be in a certain order, and I'm going to chain piece it, I am making sure that I'm doing it correctly. I know we're only 2 blocks into this Fort Worth Fabric Studio mystery sew along, but I'm excited for it after seeing the giant present and the Christmas lights. I'm wondering what the next block is going to be. And I have one piece that I'm not a fan of how little left up with the intersection, so I'm going to have to pick that out in a little bit and see if I accidentally cut the rectangle a little too big, or if I just had my 1/4 inch seam or my diagonal seam a little off. But those are easy to fix. It's just a few stitches to pop, and if I cut it slightly off, it's just an easy trim and then sew it back up. And if I didn't quite sew on my imaginary line, because I didn't draw lines on any of these because I'm lazy. Then I can just, adjust my diagonal to fix that. Laura Lynn likes the pretty star behind me. So it's this star right here. I imagine that's what she's talking about. I picked that as my channel logo because the quilt that I made for Mom is that exact same star, except smaller. And I decided that it would be a lot of fun to make that same quilt block be my logo. At least for now. I may have a change in logo at some point if I can find something different, but that's the start. So I made it in purples because I like purple. All right, guys, Craft 2, have a wonderful day. And Laura Lynn says she got her hair cut the other day and we could be twins. Oh, I'm having a little bit of a off hair day. I ended up basically running in and out of the shower so that I wouldn't be late for Saturday Sampler. I keep forgetting that I have to add 20 minutes to my day every day for Riley. White squares on a white piece of paper. That is difficult to find sometimes. Oh, Nightbot is asking if people like the craziness that's going on. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, I have 2 extra, which means I probably still have 1 chain left on. 2 chains left on. Yep. Thank you, Laura Lynn. The one thing that I have learned, though, about the YouTube like and dislike is it doesn't matter if you like or dislike. You are interacting with the video. So when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, it treats a like and a dislike the same way. Now, that said, for a content creator, they like likes better than dislikes. But I have seen a couple of videos have gotten a couple of dislikes, and I'm just like, well, they interacted, so that's all I care about. There was one of those creators, I want to say it was Mr. Beast or something like that, who his plan was to get the most disliked video, and they said that they said don't like it, everybody needs to dislike it, and it basically it got the same number of impressions as any of the standard videos that he puts out. So that's how he determined that it just really doesn't matter if you like or dislike a video. I have learned that if you stop interacting with it, interacting with the channel, then they stop suggesting it if you aren't subscribed. So that's one of the good reasons to subscribe to a channel, is it keeps you not having to constantly interact with videos and stuff. Not to say that it's a bad thing to not interact, but hi, Denise from Minnesota. Glad that you have been able to join. Heidi asks Nightbot if she gets a cookie for liking the video. I don't think Nightbot is bribing people to do likes of the video. That said, I have Girl Scout cookies in the freezer. They aren't made with real Girl Scouts, though. That disappoints me every year. But I do have a Scout that I support. Denise is going to be at the retreat. Oh, that's going to be awesome. That means Denise is going to think it's going to be warm here in Georgia in December, coming from Minnesota. I also say warm here. The Georgia mountains do get snow. A friend of mine lives almost all the way up to Dahlonega, and he's gotten excited a couple times when they've gotten snow. I've started doing the prep work for planning my retreat planning my time at the retreat. So I pulled up Google Maps to find the route to Dahlonega. And I was like, wait, I'm going up Georgia 400, past where there's traffic lights on Georgia 400. Georgia 400, south of Dawsonville is basically an interstate. And then when you hit Dawsonville, it turns into just a 4-lane road with traffic lights. So I'm like, okay, I'm going past Dawson, past the traffic lights. And for anybody who wants some trivia, Smokey and the Bandit was filmed on Georgia 400 back when it was a dirt road. Now Heidi wants cookies. You set yourself up for it, Heidi, not anybody else. Denise. Oh, you're the one who visits your son in Flowery Branch. Okay. I've seen you chatting in other channels. And I remember the Flowery Branch piece. I can't fully remember last year's weather. I remember shortly after the retreat, it got bone cold here. It was that first or second week in January. Where I think we spent 4-5 days where we didn't get above freezing. And Riley still wanted her walk 3 to 9 times a day. Karen's found the cookie emoji. Denise says this is the first time she's caught me live. Well, thank you for joining. My current goal is to go live on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you want to translate that to your time zone, it was at the beginning of the hour that is currently going on if you're seeing this live. If it's a replay that you are watching, the best thing I can tell you is there's this website called World Time Zone Buddy or Time Zone Buddy. You can put in a time in one time zone and it will do all of the translations that you need to a different time zone. So you don't have to worry about, is it daylight saving time? Is it this happening? Is that happening? It will just do all those translations for you. Because time zones suck. Those there. Now I can change my foot. Because I have I'm doing half square triangles foot. And then I have my 1/4 inch with a guide foot. And that helps me stay fairly accurate with my 1/4 inch. It's still not perfect. But the good thing is if you are fairly consistent at your imperfect, then it stays kind of perfect. Now I want to get one of these blocks fully put together now that I'm going to be on the same foot. Just so I can see how awesome it is. I forget how long Stephanie's video was for this tutorial. I think it was like 20 minutes. Because she is partnered with Fort Worth Fabric Studio to do the tutorials. I forgot to trim this. Oops. It's under my machine and I'm trying to trim the half square or the flying goose back. But she puts out the tutorials for the blocks every Monday shortly after the patterns are released. So if you are looking for more details on this, hop over onto her channel and you'll be able to see the full tutorials on these. The patterns are free on Fort Worth Fabric Studio's website. You can do them in your own fabrics, or you can support Fort Worth Fabric Studio and buy a kit. I think there's still kits available. I'm not affiliated with them, but I have loved their patterns that I have worked on. And every time that I do one of their patterns, I buy their kit, just because if I'm doing something, I want them to be how it's intended, not just in the fabrics that I decided that they may or may not look good with. I'm not a big person to do the whole, here's a mystery and you need to figure out what colors you want to do it in. It was the only reason why I did it with Socialites too is because I knew that they were all going to be scrappy blocks. But when it comes to the Fort Worth Fabric Studio stuff, some of it can be done kind of scrappy, but a lot of the times, like, I want to know what the full thing is going to look like if I'm going to go buy my own fabric. So I will definitely support them and buy their kits. He said that Karen gave a 0-calorie cookie. So now it's flanked on both sides with the white. And I was crazy enough before my stream to make the top, at least one of the tops. I haven't done many quilts that are kind of like designy things, like the ornaments and stuff that are in this quilt. So this is also nice and refreshing to have a different perspective. Most of my stuff has been either foundation paper piecing or just traditional, like usually some form of a star block. So getting the whimsy of the ornaments. When they did their Halloween one, I had FOMO because I love the idea of the glow-in-the-dark fabrics. And when I saw the houses and everything else and the pumpkins, they were just gorgeous. I just didn't quite have time in October to do that. So one light bulb done. I've seen on their Facebook page that some people did the light bulbs in multicolor, and I thought that was fun. But again, my OCD, not knowing how the bulbs are going to be at the end, it just says, no, we'll just try to stick to the way the instructions say. So I'm going to chain piece a handful more of the tops because that's what I have in my hand right now. I got an exciting piece of Happy Mail yesterday that I can't wait to show with y'all on my channel tomorrow in my weekly vlog. It was a kit, which I haven't opened up the box yet, but I know what's in the box. And then today at Saturday Sampler, they had a finished version of the Lighthearted quilt from Camille Roskelley. And the first thing that went into my head was, I need to open that kit and start working on it. I know Stephanie has been doing some of the videos. She did say that she was going to do a little bit of a pause because she had, I think she had a retreat, but then I know that she had Quilt Market and a couple of things that she was doing. So, and then she's also doing Moda Blockheads and the Fort Worth Fabric Studio and her 2-color quilt challenge. I don't know how that woman sleeps. Something's not right here. I did too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, why do I still have more? Because I counted too many. I'm glad I caught that. I'm only supposed to have 10 of the blacks, and I grabbed a pile of 20, it looks like. Oops. But I had stopped exactly where I needed to and caught myself, so I don't have to seam rip anything. Which is definitely a good thing because I don't need to be bringing out my seam ripper. It's Sean's best friend, not my best friend. I'm just finger pressing all these pieces down because I don't feel like rewarming up the iron again. They'll get a nice press whenever I'm done. If I could help it, I will finger press multiple seams as long as they don't intersect. The moment that a seam has to intersect, it needs to have a full iron, in my opinion, a full press. And I did get to show and tell my baby quilt that I made with my scraps from my socialites. I didn't tell a full story, mostly because I didn't want to take all the extra time. I was getting hungry for breakfast. And every second that I spent chatting meant another second that we would be delayed getting to the end of the session. So I just said, I know Tula Pink is usually my projects, but I had leftovers and made a baby quilt when I didn't know that I was going to have to make a baby quilt. And I say it that way because I had heard rumors she was pregnant, but she barely is even showing now. I don't know at what point women usually start looking pregnant. I know if you watch that Family Feud episode, it's September. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the YouTubes and search for Family Feud September. And it's about a 4-minute video, and Richard Dawson just can't stop laughing. Which way is the front? It's that one. The hard part with this white on white is it's always difficult to figure out the right side. But the short of the video is it's fast money, which is the last round of the game. And the question was, during which month of pregnancy does a woman begin to look pregnant? And the lady answered September. And Richard Dawson just lost it, as I imagine anybody else would. And like he couldn't keep it together when he was starting to read the question to the second person. And it was literally like 3 minutes, and the producers are yelling at him saying, "You need to get moving. We've run out of time." And the fact that they were able to keep all of that into the final edit of the broadcast is pretty awesome, in my opinion, so that you can see some of the bloopers that have happened. I love game show bloopers. They are always fun. And now I'm going to work on chain piecing the lefts and rights on these bulbs. But before each one, I have to trim the back of the snowball. That's what these are, snowballs. Snowball on a light bulb. Very Christmassy. And definitely when I am done on my live here, I'm going to be popping over into Steven's Zoom, because that was my plan for the day if I wasn't streaming. And then after Steven's Zoom, at 5 o'clock, my friend Stephanie of Quilting with Stephanie Stitches, she is going to be live on her channel. And she has a guest of me, and we will be sewing up the table runner from last month's Fort Worth Fabric Studio subscription box. Those are very fun boxes. We have some unboxing videos on our channels. If you want to give them a peek, they are currently sold out, but they are working every month to get more and more added to their availability. With any new project box, it's very difficult to figure out how many you're going to have demand for. So they're just slowly ramping up until they know how many they have demand for. Then tomorrow in the morning, my friend Sean of The Guy Who Sews, he puts out his weekly vlog. It is always fun to watch. My favorite part of his vlogs are the week in review that he has. It's a lot of clips of his adventures. And with him having a pair of exchange students, they get to do a lot of trips to a lot of colonial stuff, which is fun to watch. Basically stuff that people with kids get to do. And me, since I don't have kids, I don't necessarily want to do, but it brings back memories of when I was a kid and we got to do some of those things and field trips and stuff. And then at 11 tomorrow, my friend Shannon of Slay Arts, she is going live with her Sunday brunch. I'm not certain what she's working on, but it's always fun to have her on while I'm here in the sewing room and chit-chatting with her. Tomorrow evening, we have my weekly vlog that comes out. Not sure what I'll be talking about yet, except I'll be showing these light bulbs and the project. And then I could tell Riley had a little incident at daycare yesterday. I'll be telling everybody about. Everybody's fine. Everything is great. She's just, she knows that she did something she wasn't supposed to. And then Monday is going to be really exciting because we are starting the Cotton Cuts mini mystery table runner. The three of us, me, Shannon, and Stephanie, we will be sewing them up live on our channels. Monday at 6 o'clock is going to be me on my channel. I'll be hosting it. I managed to figure out how to get Zoom working. Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, is going to be on Shannon's channel at 6 p.m. And then Friday, as we like to call it, Black Friday, is going to be on Stephanie's channel at 11 a.m. And all those times are in Eastern time. So again, I apologize. Translating to all the time zones is difficult for me. But like I said, World Time Zone Buddy or Time Zone Buddy or something like that, it makes it very easy to translate between the different time zones. So that's happening this week. And I also think on Tuesday is the 2-color quilt challenge reveals on either Stephanie or Shannon's channel. I forget who is doing the reveal date. So there's a lot of videos happening in this next week. And obviously next Saturday morning at 8 a.m. is Brecky with The Guy Who Sews. And the one thing that I need to write down because I keep forgetting in the order of things. Stephen of Bland Designs and the Quilter, he is doing his every Sunday It's not so chatty. I forget what the Sunday program is called. I'm having a brain fart right now. I apologize. But he is going to be live with Walter, live with Stephen and Walter. That's what it's called. So he'll be live. He and Walter will be live tomorrow evening at 4 p.m. I love watching their stuff because they are a hoot when they get together. If you think their so chatty stuff is amusing, wait until you get the live element of chat into that, and they just get off the rails. It's awesome. I'm excited to be able to get to meet them in December. So I have been on here for just over an hour, and I really want to get over to Stevens Live, and that way everybody else who is double dipping, you can stop double dipping and not get in trouble. That is, if Steven lets me in because, I am late. But I hope everybody